First of all, I'd like to make a disclaimer before I get into this video. If you're struggling with alcohol addiction or any kind of addiction and you think this video could be triggering, please know this is about alcohol and basically the beginning of alcoholism, to be honest. But it's a fun tale, but it's not one to glorify alcohol. It's one to tell a part of history. So if you're struggling with alcohol abuse and you need a little help or get pointed in the right direction of how to get sober, feel free to drop me a line. I haven't been drunk since 2013. I'll say that up front. And I spent 30 years battling alcohol. Sometimes I had a really good time, but others didn't. And other times I had really bad times. And I got to say it was a mixed bag. But if it was up to me, I'd probably do it again because it does make you the person that you are now, or I am now. But at the same time, I kind of think I might even choose the straight edge path if I had to do it again, because it seems it's just a path of less suffering. So that being said, I am not glorifying alcohol use in any way, shape, or form. And if it's triggering to you, or if you're one of those people that avoided the party kind of lifestyle, maybe this isn't your video, or perhaps you'll find it entertaining at least. Hey, it's just a story, and I'm doing this instead of writing a book. So here's one of the many chapters that would have been in my book. A very relevant chapter because, well, let's face it, those that know me know that I battled alcohol for years. I wasn't a daily drinker for the most part. Maybe the last few years of my alcoholism days, I was a daily drinker before our first daughter was born. But, you know, or I shouldn't say first daughter was born. It's a long story. But when I was raising my child with my wife, basically I had cut down and was partying on the weekends. Before that, man, from the summer of about 1979 on, I was drinking. And this story today is about the first time I ever got drunk. And away we go. So it was back in the summer of 79. I was residing in the neighborhood called Rolling Acres, subdivision of Peoria, Illinois. I was living with my mother and my brother, and I was pretty much a straight arrow, man. I wasn't a smoker, I wasn't a toker, I wasn't a drinker. I was even probably the last guy out of all those categories to get involved in a lot of things, including sex. But let's not go there. TMI, right? So let's keep this to a level of alcohol topic only. I was hanging out with my buddy Caption Bill, aka Poison Bee. We were like buddies, man. Very good friends from 7th grade all the way through, well, today. And Caption Bill was the guy I mentioned in the Jakey Lee Ozzy Osbourne video, if you saw that one. We hung out a lot, and it was no secret that Caption Bill had come from Detroit. That's a pretty rough town, right? It used to be known as Detroit Rock City. Detroit Rock City. And Bill moved to Illinois at one point and was a smoker. He was smoking cigarettes, and my mother freaked because all my friends were straight-laced. Well, yeah, we were into music, but we were still straight. And my buddy Bill was not only smoking cigarettes, but he smoked weed, and he drank. And my mom grew to love the guy. He became like a surrogate son to my mom. He was at our house every weekend, every week, oftentimes staying over nights and nights in a row because my mom kind of took him in. Bill's mom was busy a lot, had a lot of kids, and, you know, had to work a lot. So he'd come to our house. We'd feed him. He'd stay over. We'd listen to rock and roll. Anyway, Caption Bill. I actually draw an underground comic at one point all about the adventures of Caption Bill because he always got into such craziness. Well, I always told Bill, look, I don't mind if you smoke, but just don't judge me because I don't want to smoke. And I didn't start smoking cigarettes till hell I was 22. At this point, I'm in 8th grade. I had just graduated from 8th grade. It was the summer before high school, I think. I'm pretty sure. Caption Bill, if you're watching, correct me down below in the comments. But, you know, it was one of those things where I decided, and I still hadn't smoked weed, I hadn't smoked cigarettes, I hadn't done drugs. But one day, the opportunity arose that I decided I wanted to drink alcohol. And here we go. This is where it all starts. We found out about a kegger party. Those were very popular when I was a kid. Somebody that was an adult or older that could get, you know, had a fake ID or whatnot, would purchase a keg, and then they would take the keg to a piece of place in the woods, a piece of land in the woods, or someone's house, which was always a nightmare because everything got trashed in a house. But in the woods, you could just get drunk and crazy. And I would watch people at these parties, but I never wanted to drink. but one day I did. So we get invited to this kegger party where they have a little kegger about this big. It's a big silver round thing, in case you don't know. And it's got a little thing you screw onto it that's a tapper. And you tap it and it pressurizes it. And once it's ready, you take your little the little thing that dispenses your beer, and you put it in your cup, and you have your little foamy yellow beer. And I'm just saying that for the people that aren't from the party world, because boy, this was the beginning of my big time party world that didn't end for decades. We sat down at this party that was being held by a bunch of the older guys in school. We used to call everybody jocks, burnouts, the nerds, the blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes. It was the same thing universally in America, probably in all the other countries too. Everyone had a category, and it was so goofy. Like the song from the band Rush, Subdivisions in the concert halls, in the shopping malls, be cool or be cast out. And what is cool, man? You know, cool can be defined in so many freaking ways. Let's not even go there, man, because high school was a trip for me. We go to this party. It's outside at some like rich dude's house, and there's like a big dugout area in the dirt, and they have the keg right in the middle. It's kind of like a fire pit. That's what it was. And we're all sitting around this fire pit, and there's a keg right there, and it was like a couple of bucks or $1 for a cup, and you pay your $1, you get a cup, and you can drink all you want until you pass out if you'd like. Well, I didn't know what to expect from alcohol. I tasted it. My father, when I was growing up, you know, and the old school guys would be like, hey, want to drink a beer, son? Definitely not cool. Definitely probably influenced and enabled so many people to become alcoholics, man. But my dad did let me taste beer when I was growing up, and I hated it. I thought, this sucks. Give me a Coca-Cola. At least it tastes good. You know, I didn't realize people were drinking for the buzz, not for the taste. Now, yeah, some of you people that are into, like, you know, craft brews and making homemade brews are going to say, you know, I'm into it for the taste. And I do get that with the different hops and barleys and different ingredients. I guess some beer is tasty. When you get older, your taste buds change. You acquire a taste for beer, right? Well, we sat down at this kegger. I was kind of intimidated because the guys having the party were like a year or two ahead of us. We were like 8th graders getting ready to be freshmen. These guys were like sophomores in high school kind of thing. Kind of guys that kind of picked on us a little bit, but we held our own pretty good. And Captain Bill was a fighter, by the way, coming from Detroit. I saw him scrap with many people that thought they were tough guys, and he beat the crap out of them every time. Hey, Captain Bill, this story is dedicated to you, bro. But truthfully, I want to dedicate this also to David Valley, a good friend of mine in Medford, Oregon, who has celebrated his 6-year sobriety today. And I saw his thing on Facebook, his post, and I thought, you know, even though I don't drink anymore either, it inspired me to remember when I started drinking. And so I thought, why not put a story on YouTube? So David Valley, congratulations. I'm proud of you, bro. David Valley played guitar in the band Divine Dirt. He was also in my band, The Backstabbers. A great guy who's in a band now called Neon Chrome, kick-ass band. You can check out one of their songs on my Church of Rock YouTube channel by going to The Church of Rock, all one word. Also, is a good time right now to subscribe, like, comment, and share if you would. Back to the story. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Hey, it's a weekend. I feel like I'm sitting around the campfire talking to you guys, so thank you for hanging in there. We're sitting down at this little campfire. I got my little cup in hand. I'm past the point of being intimidated by the older guys. We start drinking beers. Hey, would you like a beer? Sure. So I drink my beer, and it goes down rather smooth. I'm kind of like, yuck, but we're talking. We're all talking, yakety yak. I'm not even thinking about when I'm going to start feeling this beer effects. Next thing you know, I have 2. You remember the cups that are like these little small plastic white cups, clear cups, and they're very small, but beer's potent. Beer is potent. If you don't drink, you get drunk. Didn't take much. So I'm on to beer number 2. And next thing you know, we're talking more and more. And, you know, you think I'd have to pee at some point. But next thing you know, we're talking more and more. And I'm having beer number 3, beer number 4. Yep, I was a beer virgin. So I was counting. I wanted to see how many beers I would drink. And what does this stuff do? And it wasn't like having big bottles of beer or a full can of beer. Those are like probably a half a can, maybe 3/4 of a can, I guess. Maybe even a full can. I don't know. Somebody tell me in the comment section how much does a cup about this big hold in terms of a beer can. So, my friends, I started having a lot of fun. I didn't notice a buzz though. I just noticed that things were pretty neat and we were having great conversation. Next thing you know, I'm up to 5, 6, 7, 8, the 8 beers. Count. Yeah, never mind. Then next thing you know, I couldn't believe it. I kept telling my friend, how in the hell am I able to drink this much fluid? This is interesting. I always wondered how beer drinkers did it. Like, where does all that alcohol go? How do you do it? And then I got to my 8th beer, my 9th beer, my 10th beer, literally. And finally we talked more and more, and I'm starting to feel like, I got to kind of pee. I kind of need to stretch and get up maybe. And I had one more beer. I had 11 beers. And my buddy was gagging. He was like, how in the hell are you not drunk? Or what's up with you, Mr. Beer doesn't affect me guy? It was very strange, very, very strange, because later in life, when I would drink a beer, I could feel it after 1 or 2, But the first time's always the weirdest, especially with cannabis, man. That's another story. So, this is bizarre. I stand up from the fire pit, and the next thing you know, I'm like, whoa, and I'm literally falling over. I could not figure out, not gravity, but I was just completely topsy-turvy. I felt like the world was spinning, not the room, I'm outside. I felt like everything was spinning, man, and I was laughing my butt off. I mean, I was having a ball. It was an ecstatic feeling I'd never felt before. I felt completely great. I felt just like laughing at the world. I was literally falling down. Bill would help me up, and all the people, they're laughing at me because they're like, is this his first time? I'm like, and it was too bizarre. Everyone was laughing at me. It was so funny, and I'm just falling over. I didn't give a rat's ass what those guys were thinking of me at that point. You're not very self-conscious when you're drinking, let's put it that way. And I wasn't at all. I was just like, whoa, I'm falling over, stumbling. Bill's trying to hold me up, and we started laughing. I couldn't believe how I felt. I'm like, what is this drunkenness? It was so bizarre. You know what happened next? Kind of a really humiliating thing happened next. I am standing there laughing my ass off, falling over, trying to compose myself. I'm literally, and the next thing you know, I lost control of my bladder. Yep. Guess what happened next? The front of my jeans, woo, this big wet stain appears going down my leg. Yeah, this part of the story sucks. And all the people are like, oh my God, he's pissed himself. He's peed his pants. Look, And I'm like, oh no. I'm combination laughing and mortified, but more laughing. I really didn't care that I peed myself. I was just dying. And quite frankly, it felt good that everyone was laughing at me. I just felt like I was all in a big group of people that were having fun, but I didn't realize in my drunken state that the joke was definitely on my drunken ass. So I thought, oh my God, what do I do? When I go home? My mom's going to see me with a pair of pissed pants. What am I, pissy pants mess. What am I going to do? So Bill says, let's walk to my house and we'll get a pair of jeans from my house. You'll put them on? No problem. Problem was, I was the size they called husky. Remember that, boys? Do you remember that? Were you a husky? Did you wear husky size? Tell me in the comments below. Bill was very thin, a very skinny guy. He was into track and running, and he was very thin anyway, just by definition. His DNA just made sure of it. His mom was always very small and thin, and Bill was very thin. So his pant size was about 4 sizes lower than mine. So guess what happened? In order to get those pants without Bill having to go home and stay in for the night, because he's saying he's staying at my house for the night, and I'm telling my parents I'm staying at his house. It was one of those weird deals. When we were a teenager, we used to kind of lie to get out of the house. So what happened was my mom had gotten a hold of somebody, and I had to go home to check in before I could go to Bill's to spend the night. But we were just partying. So we have to crawl in Bill's bedroom window, man. Yeah, we jimmied up the window. Bill climbs inside, pulls my drunken ass up. That was just a nightmare because we're trying not to wake up his mom. So we get me in the bedroom. I finally get my pants off. It's just gross. He's getting me paper towels. I'm wiping my legs off. I'm getting those pants on, and it was like I tried to put one leg in the first leg, and it was like 4 sizes too small. And to this day, want to laugh talking about it. It was so stupid. And I just kept falling over onto his mattress trying to get this stupid pant leg on. And, oh, there's a hole in my sock. Wow. And I'm trying to get this stupid pant leg on, and I'm stretching it. And I'm just like, is there one in this one? Oh, my God. There's paper stuck to my foot. This is bizarre. Oh, nope. More paper. Anyway, the bottom line is I couldn't get these stupid pants on, but I had to. So I just took my shirt and untucked it. Did the best I can. My pants came up to just above my knees. And this is how I walked from Bill's house to my parents' house like a complete drunken idiot. This was the beginning of a tradition that Captain Bill and I kept for years. Maybe a few years. We had our arms around each other, we're drunk as hell, and we started singing a part of the movie from the movie Jaws. Remember that movie? Woo! What a crazy movie, boy. Back in the 70s, that scared the crap out of the world. But there's a part of the movie that says, the guy's drunk, he's like, show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. I just had a few drinks about an hour ago, and it went straight to my head. Wherever I may roam, over land or sea or foam, you can always hear me singing this song. Show me the way to go home. And then you begin again. Show me the way to go home. Boom, boom, I'm tired and I want to go to bed. I just got up about an hour ago and I went stand. Never mind, I'm screwing up the lyrics. But we did that. We're arm in arm. Couple of drunken teenagers stumbling into the night, and every time we'd go get drunk after that, which was quite often, we would do that. We would just walk around, show me the way to go home. So we get to my parents' house. This is the beginning of another sucky part of the tale. Yeah, man, my mom was not an idiot, and she also didn't know that I was drinking because I never had. I get to the house to check in. I'm trying to stay as far away from as I can so she doesn't smell me. Because if you don't know, if you drink some beers or any alcohol and you go around a sober person, they're going to smell it in about 10 seconds, man. So I'm trying to calm myself down right now. My ADHD ass is a little too hyper. Trying to control that, folks. So please bear with me. I'm like a robot. So we get to the house. My mom's wondering what's going on. It was kind of late. How come you're just now checking in? She knew something was fishy. She didn't know what it was, but I was able to somehow get past her without her knowing. I don't know how. I think it was late and she was tired. So I ended up passing out at Bill's house that night. We went back and snuck back in the window at Bill's and just crashed there. And I'm telling you, that was the beginning of 30 years of excess. 1983. And then in 2013, that is when I stopped drinking. And now I was never a regular drinker again. And I haven't gotten drunk since then. And let me tell you something. Battling alcohol, substance abuse is no joke. It starts out as fun. And here, yeah, the preaching part. Sorry, but I have a little bit of a, in my mind, a moral and, well, just having morals and some basic, goodness about your heart. When you get older, you should acquire wisdom. If you don't, there's a problem. And if you're struggling, like I say, get a hold of me. You can email me. I can try to point you in the right direction. I know a lot of people that are celebrating sobriety. My good friend Sammy Town from the band Fang, he has helped a lot of people get sober. There's a lot of help out there for you if you're struggling. And it always starts out fun, and it was fun, for years of drinking. But over the years, I became known as a really bad drunk. Some people can drink and have a really good time, and then they, like a cop once told me, when people drink, eventually, when they drink as much as you do, Mr. Mess, they said people either puke and they're done, they pass out and they're done, or they die or go to jail. And I was always the one that would always get to the third option, go to jail, juvenile detention, blah, blah, blah. Never had a felony. Never had anything I have things I'm ashamed of, but nothing that I wouldn't be able to admit on here and without fear of being hurt. No, it was all drunken, stupid stuff, spitting beer on people, bar fights, a DUI once. I'll have a story one day about all my arrests, but it doesn't make me a horrible person. I know millions of people, tons, that have had to go through the system for being a bad boy. What are you going to do, man? Sue me? So all I can say is it's probably better, my friends, if you're young and you're watching this, to stay away from the first taste of alcohol. Definitely stay away from the opiates. Stay away from all the speed. Just stay away from the cigarettes and all that stuff. There's only one thing that a couple of things that I will say that I back, and I'm not even going to say that because I don't need to be an enabler. My friends, please take the time to subscribe to this video. Give it a like if you would. Leave me a comment, and if you would, maybe share it. I'll be back real soon with another rock and roll tale. I just wanted to give a personal tale about something in my personal life, because a lot of folks have been saying, hey man, where's all the bloody stories? I'm like, if you haven't noticed, my views aren't exactly going through the roof when I do a personal bloody story, but I was reminded today that the numbers are actually good and that I'm jaded. So hey, I'll take what I can get. I'm very happy for anyone that gives a damn about my music career, and my new album, Dark Days Unfazed, is under the name Bloody F Mess. Can be found on all streaming services. Thank you to Punk Media. It's also available on vinyl, courtesy of Ragged Records and Fanatic Records, and on CD, courtesy of Fanatic Records, and out next month, or the month after, on Bird Eater Entertainment on cassette tape. Dark Days Unfazed, Bloody F Mess. Signing out, my friends. Have a great weekend. Stay real. Rock and roll.